Hey, what's up, everybody? Wagey checking in for another gym chat. Appreciate you joining. Today, just wanted to talk about my experience with Hustlers University in the real world. Came into my life after I got a little bit of free time. They had some very nice selling points. A risk taker, so I jumped at the opportunity. The $49.99 or whatever wasn't much to pay, so I dove right in. And through taking, just their initial test, I found out I had a little bit more going for myself than I had initially thought, and that there was several different opportunities for me to take advantage of. One that I really wanted to look into was the stocks and the trading. So I took that route and I got a pretty decent wealth of experience. I learned quite a little bit more about finances that I didn't know at the time. So just already off the bat, it was worth that $50 tag, so I was invested in it. And, I got to chat and communicate with the Discord server. That was cool too. But what it initially did kind of after that, it sparked the sense of urgency for me to kind of stray away from that and do something on my own. It actually led to this. So I went to the stocks, I did that, but I didn't want to immerse myself in that just yet. So I went back and started kind of at the beginning, and I took some of their copywriting stuff. And it was through that I learned something very valuable that wasn't necessarily provided to me in a previous time frame. The concept of deep work. Okay, so deep work is breaking off a portion of time, probably no more than 3 hours, but it's breaking off a block of time in which you will dedicate yourself solely to one task. That one task is going to be the focus of your bandwidth for the next hour to 3. You're gonna work diligently, and it's just that you need to start. The finishing point doesn't necessarily matter. What is prevalent is that you actually start and continue to move forward with whatever it is that you're doing. So that concept of deep work really sunk in with me. And if you pair that along with, the sales tactics that they use, that's kind of, again, what led me here. Not so much for sales. Again, if you know, I'm a customer service type. So the thing that even sparked this is that I've had life experiences that could be beneficial for somebody either going through them, heading in that direction, or that has, exited kind of that storm and is looking for a place to start. I've been incarcerated, unfortunately. I've dealt with divorce and custody situations. I've dealt with failing relationships from intimate levels to family and otherwise, I understand how to pick myself back up and keep moving forward. So again, for the longest time, I really wanted to do that. And it was through the course of taking, advantage of what Hustlers University had to offer that again drove me down this course. They have you look into, again, copywriting, which is this conscious writing of communicating in a way that you are understood by the receiver, and then as well drawing them in to what it is that you're trying to provide for them. Everybody isn't going to take the bait, so to speak, but that's irrelevant because you're trying to get what information you do have to the people that do and want that information. So that again led me towards various things. And then, through the course of even starting this, most of the things that you're gonna encounter on a new journey, again, is just that starting point that is probably the most intimidating aspect. Because once you get through it, or once you get into it, this was something that I found when I was going through a custody situation. I was given a stack of paperwork that I needed to fill out. And it was just intimidating to look at because I'm just me. I don't necessarily have any legal knowledge. But the desire that I have for what is at the other side of filling out this stack of paperwork is greater than the intimidation factor of this paperwork. I did give myself a little bit of time to kind of settle down. But again, once I dug into it, most of what was going on through that paperwork, it was just repetitive information that I needed to provide. It got so simple. But again, just looking at it, at that stack of paperwork, that was intimidating, especially if, again, you have no law experience, you don't know where to start. But what you need to do to start is putting that pen to pad and filling out the information that was provided. And then when you run into something that you don't know the answer for, you go and reference, and we have Google and all kinds of stuff available, so there's almost no excuse for anything. So again, to translate that back to this, starting this in some of my other journeys, even getting into opening stock brokerages account and things of that nature, it was just the starting point of setting up that account, creating all these different passwords, logins, keeping track of all that mess, and kind of consolidating all that information. But it's just repeat information. They're gonna want your ID name, and they're gonna want your password, and they're gonna want some personal information from you. But again, it's getting over that first mental hurdle, which is just starting. So that's what deep work helped me do, and again, drove me to the starting point for this. So just off that alone, it was kind of, my experience with Hustlers University was kind of priceless. And I stuck with it. I had my auto payment set up and I stuck with it. But the situation, Andrew started going through some things, and then they started transitioning wherever their portals were to different places. And I guess I wasn't keeping tabs with that. Because again, I drifted off and I started doing this for myself, so I wasn't necessarily absorbed in that particular aspect of that situation. So, again, they moved portals, and, my auto payment didn't go through because they shut down stuff here and they opened up stuff over here. And, after the third or fourth time with that, I just decided I didn't necessarily have a need for it anymore because I had already embarked on my personal journey. It started me on something that was way more beneficial for myself in the long run. And again, it's priceless in regards to that. Some other things, I built my website for setting up my coaching sessions. I learned how to, present all the information in regards to my background, and again, what experiences I do have that I might be able to help somebody who's again going through similar situations lay foundations for themselves to rebuild and move upward. So again, in regards to the Hustlers University and the real world, I'm grateful that I got on that journey and I continued forward on my own path. I have I'm still expanding on my knowledge base on investing and trading through the stock market. Webull is a fan of mine, or a big one that I'm a fan of. Robinhood was a nice one to start. Now I'm moving on to TradeStation. They have the options that you can buy and sell contracts. So I'm just immersing myself more into that. Again, I still have my website, but that was just a valuable experience in itself because I had to start something from scratch that I had no real experience on. But I decided to take on that journey for myself. So it just, and again, through these processes, just learning how much I actually do have to offer and what the value of actual effort is. The great equalizer, man. If you're down to do the work and get over that initial intimidating factor, there's no telling where you'll actually go for myself or yourself, you know? And again, I keep stepping into this place. You guys keep tuning in for the gym chats. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm doing to hold myself accountable and keep me on the course to where I want to go. Once you're immersed in your purpose and you're dedicated to it, yourself, taking care of yourself, you will start to exude properties that are unmistakable, and people can deny it. Again, are you gonna let that stop you? Why let haters stop you? You know what I'm saying? Because they might be jealous that they're not necessarily willing to take on those endeavors for themselves. Remember, people see the solutions that your situation can offer. They don't address the problems that might come along with it. And if they're not ready to handle whatever their situation is currently, they're definitely not ready to take on whatever your situation is. Otherwise, they would start to move themselves in that direction. So again, I'm grateful and thankful for Andrew in bringing that experience, across my pathway so that I could get what I needed. Like I encourage you guys, I drew what I needed from it. I contributed to that resource because I paid faithfully. I set my stuff up on autopay. So much to the point where I didn't even know they stopped taking my money. You know what I'm saying? So harmonious relationships, it set me off on my endeavor for myself. I'm continuing to build and hone my crafts. Like I said, one of the purposes of this is continuing to build my communication skills and, reaching out to provide information that hopefully you can find useful and put to some practical application. Because essentially knowledge is useless in the face of experience. You could know everything in the world, but if you haven't actually put it to use, what good is it? It almost doesn't matter. Experience is gonna trump that every time because I have real world application of what your concept is, So yeah, just wanted to touch base on that and share my particular journey again with Hustlers University and the real world. Shout out to Tate. I hope everything plays out decent for you, my man. And thank you for bringing that spark that I needed to elevate that sense of urgency for me to get started on my own path. And again, I appreciate you guys tuning in, checking in. I encourage you guys to, hopefully this might spark some sense of urgency within yourself so that you can go move forward on your own journey. At least start taking care of yourself, have value in yourself, take on characteristics. It doesn't matter about this alpha beta stuff, that's irrelevant. Take on characteristics that you want to have for yourself and start to hone them and make them a part of who you are. Don't fake the funk. You can't fake the funk. I mean, you can, but it's really easy to see through a lot of the times because, again, the dedication is going to show through, it'll radiate through you. How you talk, how you conduct yourself, how you carry yourself, just how you walk around, it'll radiate through you. So again, I encourage you to keep putting in that work for yourself, care about yourself and where you're going through your life and where you want to take yourself. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in for another gym chat. I wish you guys nothing but the best, and Wages out.